Hi Jeff. Off a tick. How you doing, Chip? How you doing, Sid? Hope you're all well. Hi Patrick. You've been doing yard work. Well, I spent Friday, a good portion of Friday, getting this room, this workshop, kind of in kind of a condition that I'm happy with. Moved things around a little bit. I still have to sweep the floor. The floor's still a mess, but just organised myself a little bit more. Hey Mark. Yeah, my dad's he's settled down a little bit. He's at home, but he's very frail. He can't get about on his own. He's got to use either a walker or a wheelchair. So that's just the way it is. I think it's probably there's a fair chance it'll stay that way. It'll be good if he can strengthen up his leg muscles and manage to walk, but we don't know. Let's see how that goes. It'll need a lot of perseverance on his part as well. Oh, Jeff, that's nasty. How did he do that? A torn bicep. Flipping heck. That's bad. Are you on a 4-day stint now, Mark? Which day is it? Day 1, 2, or 3, or 4? Bowling. Oh, I used to do bowling when I was younger. I used to go every Saturday night with a couple of friends, but mostly with one guy. Around Heathrow Airport, there used to be a bowling alley. Trimmed my beard, by the way. Handsome, right? There used to be a bowling alley around Heathrow Airport. So I used to go to that every Saturday night. I suppose I must have done it for a year or two. I don't know exactly. But we got pretty good at it. I mean, I wasn't in any kind of sort of league or anything like that. I wasn't that kind of good. But for just kids having fun, I was probably about 20 at the time, that kind of age, 19, 20, 21. And it used to be pretty good. I used to get up in the 200s, if I remember correctly, on a good night. You know, could often get, I wouldn't say often, but fairly often got 3 strikes, you know, that kind of thing. But spares and strikes were quite frequent in each game. So yeah, we were pretty good. I thought we were anyway. You're on your last one. Cool. Cheers, everybody. A bit of decaf coffee tonight. I haven't had a smoke yet today. I was going to smoke this tobacco for the first time. This is the Saint Espresso by Warped, collab with C&D. I got 2 tins of this in from smokingpipes.com. Came through unfettered by Customs and Excise. So we shall see. What I intend to do is, if I like it anyway, I'll put one away. And one of them I'm going to open up, try it. I'll try it now for the first time. I'll talk to you about it, and I'll probably send out a few samples to people here in the UK to try. They only sell using Bitcoin. I would be very wary of that website, Mark. Very, very wary indeed. Tony, Rhode Island, how you doing? Mark, TPI, how are you? I'm in the middle of making a pipe as well. This is a small bent apple. And it's going very nicely. Just finished the shaping wheel, and I'm going to do hand sanding now. Really nice little apple. It's a small pipe, smaller than I usually do, but really very nice size. Definitely a lunting pipe. Yeah, I'm definitely, the last few pipes I've been trying to get smaller. I've noticed that a lot of my pipes are on a medium to large size. Medium, most of them are usually around the medium, sort of just on the plus side of medium. So I'm trying now very hard to reduce the size of my pipes. I think it will reach a wider audience as well. I want to do more non-filtered pipes as well. And doing smaller pipes means as well that you can use a lot of the smaller blocks. You tend to end up with a briar draw with lots of small blocks left behind because you're not using smaller blocks. So this kind of thing allows you to do that, to use up those smaller blocks. Well, Mark, I think that's pushing it a bit, but thank you. I appreciate the compliment. It's a nice little pipe. Nice shape, apple shape. One of my favorite shapes of all time. And we've got the same insert here. This is kind of a caramelly, or caramel as you guys in the States would call it, a swirl. Should look nice. In terms of a stain, it would probably be best with a dark stain, but the briar really is very, very clean. I don't know if it's going to give me the best grain. It's a cross grain pipe, so there's some nice cross grain. There's definitely some bird's eye on one side, but I don't think it's a densely populated bird's eye. Hey, Chad. One side has better bird's eye than the other. There is some bird's eye there. You can see that bird's eye there. But this side is a little bit less so. But still, I'm kind of tempted to leave this one virgin. I don't know, we'll see. It kind of needs more grain for it to be virgin. I was tempted to rusticate this one as well. I haven't done rustication very much recently. The odd one or two, but nothing much. But I'll probably just go with a classic stain, maybe a darker brown to contrast with this sort of light coffee color. I think that might be quite nice. We shall see. So I want to give you guys a shop tour because I've moved things around a little bit. The metal lathe is packed up and ready to go back. Generally, Mark, that would be the case. Yeah, no flaws, no rustication. I would tend to agree. But you know what? While I'm talking, why not have a smoke? So let's open up this tin first of all. Hey Jeremy, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. All right, so this is Saint Espresso by Warped in collaboration with Cornell and Deal. And what it says on the tin, I do find these tin descriptions to be a little bit too flouncy for my liking. However, let's see what it says. I'm waiting on a new pair of specs. I'm finding it hard with these ones. A unique triad of distinct Cavendish variants, each carefully steamed and toasted, combine to evoke the velvety body and rich flavor of a fine espresso. Taking on a stuff and things kind of mode here. Perfect to start your day, to pick you up after lunch, or to pair with evening dessert. This exquisite coffee-inspired blend takes an exclusively different approach to the classic black Cavendish aromatic profile. A unique triad of distinct Cavendish variants. So this is all Cavendish? The warning on this is hilarious. The warning says, this product can expose you to tobacco smoke. Not can, it definitely will. And it is known in the state of California to cause cancer, and nicotine, which is known to the state of California to cause birth defects or other reproductive harm. For more information, www. Well, all of you guys who are not in California, go ahead and buy this with confidence. I haven't heard from Izzy in terms of videos. He did do one not that long ago, but I was in touch with him a few days ago. We were going to have a chat on the phone, but so far that hasn't materialized. We were going to speak last week, but last Tuesday, Wednesday, but it didn't work out. So maybe this week, we shall see. We have a particular topic which we want to talk about. It's an esoteric, religious kind of topic that we want to hash out, that I want to hash out. And yeah, so we're waiting for the right time. Okay. Ooh, smells nice. Hand blended in the Carolinas. Ooh, now that is good. It doesn't have that whole rigmarole inside. It's just a piece of paper and you're into the tobacco. Well done, C&D and Warped. I've got to say, it smells like what it says on the tin. You got some dark leaves there, speckled with some brighter leaves, but mostly dark, and with some really large bits of leaf there. Lots of bigger chunks in there, which for me is a good thing, because I find that when you have bigger leaves, or if you have offcuts or flakes, sometimes you get a rubbed out mixture, already rubbed, but you'll see in there chunks, and you'll see lots of layers in that chunk, so you can see it was a flake in its previous lifetime, and it was then rubbed out, chopped up. I like that. That tells me at least that it's been pressed, and there's some thought and love gone into the making of the blend. So when you end up with a variety of sizes of leaf, sometimes that's a good sign, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're just using any leaf that they can get their hands on, just to be a carrier for flavorings, for casings. But I would hope that with the collaboration with Warped and C&D, that's not the case. You'd expect it to be a little bit more decent than that. The aroma is excellent. The aroma is literally fresh coffee. A sweet fresh coffee. It's a specific aroma which reminds me of something. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's very sweet. The aroma is very, very sweet. Tiramisu. I think it's tiramisu. That's what I'm getting. You guys know what tiramisu is? I'm assuming you get that in the States. Hey, awesome Bill's here. Smarty Bob, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, that's what it's like. Tiramisu. Tiramisu is basically biscuits, cookies, but they're called ladyfingers, which are soaked in like a coffee liqueur, and then you get a moussey kind of cream on top of that. So you get this boozy coffee kind of aroma and flavor, but the aroma here is what that boozy coffee kind of thing tastes like. I made myself this strop on Friday, which I'll get to when I talk about my moving things around a bit in here. It's quite moist. It's not hugely so, but it is fairly moist. And these big bits of tobacco a little bit stalky, some of them. You know, there are some blends out there which people say, you know, it just literally looks like it's all the offcuts in which they sweep up off the floor from other better blends, which they then make up an aromatic from. I hope it's not that kind of thing. You know, if they're making it a limited run, I don't know if this is a limited run. Does it say so? It's a triple Cavendish mixture. It's not the kind of thing that I'd normally gravitate towards. It doesn't say that it's a limited run. I guess that they'll try it out and see what happens. Sticks and stacks, is that what he calls it? Faxy some fax machines. You still got a fax machine, Mark? When was the last time it whirred into life or screeched into life? This is the warped C&D collaboration Saint Espresso. Yeah. So the pipe I brought out is my billiard with a mortar shank adornment. I don't smoke this pipe that often. It is an aromatic pipe. I generally smoke vanilla blends with it, but I don't smoke it that often, so hopefully it won't be too vanilla-y. I think I must have already cleaned it out. So like I say, typically this is not the type of tobacco that I'd usually go for. Okay, we'll let that sit out a little bit. While I'm doing that, I'll just show you around the workshop and show you a few of the little bits of changes. So I was telling you about the metal lathe. So I bought a metal lathe which arrived a week or so ago, an entry-level metal lathe, but still a fairly decent spec. It still cost the best part of $1,000. In any event, it arrived. It was pretty well packaged and it was pretty much ready to go. Set it up and did a couple of turns on it, and I could see that it wasn't lined up. Either I don't understand how to use it, or it wasn't lined up. So when I put the tool in, the cutting tool, basically it would cut just below the center line. So I could never actually cut through something exactly where I want it. So I figured maybe it was the tools. I ordered some tools online. They arrived. I ordered actually some blanks, which I could then shape myself. So I ordered HSS square section steel, and I then ground it down to a basically a chisel shape, similar to what I use all the time. And it's still the same problem. It still had the same problem. So I was fairly confident that the thing was out of line. And there's a few other things on it which I wasn't happy about, just the overall quality. I got in touch with the guys there, the company that I bought it from, and they said they would take it back, which I was extremely, I think I mentioned this on one of my videos already. I was very impressed by, that the company was prepared to take it back straight away. So I've packed it up, cleaned it, packed it up. I put it back in its crate, and how you doing, Crimpy? And hopefully that will go back during the next few days. I hope I don't get any hassle, because they did offer to take it back. I hope they don't go back on their word. I sent them an email confirming that. I haven't had a response yet. So during the process of getting the space on my workbench to accommodate the extra lathe, I made a, well, let me show you. This was something I'd considered doing if I was going to move upstairs to make more space. But Josh suggested, Pipe Grump suggested that I do it here. So what I did is I made this platform for my big sander. And what that did was create loads of space here. So that's my work area. And all this space here, all the way up to there, became free. So what I did was I put my grinder back on, and I've started, and I've sort of screwed it to the bench, and I've started grinding my tools. And instead of using, well, not instead of, but as well as using the EasyWood tools, which have the carbide tips, which are removable and replaceable, I resharpened my own chisels. So this one is really a top of the range Crown Tools chirogenic, which is I don't know if they've done some kind of chirogenics to harden the steel. So I sharpened those. There's too much going on in the background for it to focus. There you can see there, and they're actually very, very sharp now. Look at that lovely edge. And so I think I'm gonna be going back to using those at least part of the process of making a pipe, and I think I'll end up getting really a little bit more accuracy on the cuts. So I moved this around, and I actually tilted the hood as well, so it gives me more access to the shaping wheel, which is good. And I moved it a little bit away from the drawers, so I've got better access to my briar drawers. That lathe is still there, and the extractor is still where it was, but I've just got loads more room here, and it just makes my life a lot easier. And if I really wanted to get another machine in, at least I know that I've got the room for it. The next machine may well be a lathe again, a metal lathe, but it would be a higher spec lathe. And the bandsaw is up there, as it's been for a while. I put a new blade on it the other day, and it's cutting nicely. Those are all my tools above my lathe. So we have the cutting tools. There's a parting tool and various other bits and pieces that I use for different functions. Then you've got the chucks over there, drill bits, more drill bits. And that's the actual machine itself. Hefty machine. Got the controls there with the speed function, reverse, forward and back, forward and reverse direction of the lathe. So there we are. That is currently what the shop looks like. The roof is not fixed, Jeff. That's the roof. And I have actually now finally been getting correspondence from the insurance company. As I mentioned on, was it on Friday? I don't know. I don't remember if I had a live on Friday or not. I don't think I did. But the insurance company sent me an email either Wednesday or Thursday. I don't remember, or Friday, and they basically said that they haven't managed to validate the claim yet because they haven't seen pictures of what it looked like before, so they can't compare before to what it is now. So they can't see the damage, so to speak. So I said to them, you know, what do you expect? You want me to take pictures of everything that I own just in case it gets damaged? I don't have pictures of it from before. So they said, yeah, they understand that, but hopefully it'll get sorted very soon. So I'm hopeful that I'll get a response from them in the very near future. I can't remember when the actual storm took place now. Was it Storm Eunice? I don't remember. But I think it was February time, if I'm not mistaken. So what will be February, March, April, May, June now. So it's been a good few months. And I need to potentially use this room again for a festival only in like 2-3 months time. So what we know, 4.5 months. All right, so there's still a reasonable amount of time. I must say this does look a little bit twiggy. There are some little twigs in there. Thanks, Chip. I appreciate that. Thanks for your message earlier. What I will say is that it is a very sweet aroma. It's a sweet coffee aroma. It really is reminiscent of tiramisu. So here we go. I'm sure you guys have been following the Chicago Pipe Show. I think there's a little bit of flavors coming through from the ghosting on this pipe, vanilla. But the note I'm getting off it, it really, it's triggering some serious deja vu in my mind. And I'm talking about deja vu from 40 years ago. I don't know if it's a combination of the vanilla with this tobacco, or if this tobacco has that aroma, but it is triggering some serious memories from my childhood. I had some teachers who smoked pipes, and this is the aroma I'm getting. I don't think they had espresso aroma tobacco in those days. How you doing, Bob? The tobacco itself, I'm not getting a distinct kind of flavor at all. I'm going to have to smoke it in another pipe and see. Because the room note, as I say, it's triggering big time. It's a nice aroma. Hey, Kentucky. What I would say certainly is it's not a goopy, horrible, sickly sweet affair. There's definitely been some thought into this. The aroma is much more pungent than the flavor. So you're not getting hit by this horrible, sickly sweet, saccharini sweet kind of flavor. That's definitely in its to its advantage. Retrohale is nice. A little bit of a burn on the nostrils. The flavor itself is really mild. I wondered if there was some cigar leaf in there. Somebody had said something about cigar leaf, but it's not written on the tin. I wonder if if it's on tobacco reviews already. Yep, it is. Black Cavendish, Kentucky, Virginia. Flavorings: cocoa, chocolate, fruit, citrus, vanilla. Doesn't say coffee on it though. Jimix has done a review. He's given it a 4-star. What? The steamed and toasted 3 Cavendishes are lightly sweetened Dominican cigar, Eastern North Carolina, Red Virginia, and unsweetened One Sucker Kentucky Burley Black. Okay. Their aspects are fermented, tiny dark fruit, earth, wood, peaty vegetation, floralness, leather, herbs, some tart and tangy citrus, grass, sugar, cocoa, Gordon Bennett, espresso-ish coffee with a little cream, spice, nuts, tea, acidity, and light roughness. The cigar is the most prominent Cavendish. The Red Virginia is a supporting player. The Birdie Black sits in the third slot. The vanilla, cocoa, and caramel toppings are the most obvious in that order, but I sense some tangy citrus as well. The toppings moderately tone down the tobaccos and help create a very synergetic, well-balanced, complex, and nuanced, creamy, sweet, fruits, espresso-ish coffee, light, sour, bitter, savory, slightly spicy, floral flavor that extends to the pleasantly lingering aftertaste. The nick hit is a central of medium, mild to medium. The taste level is medium. There's no chance of bite or harshness. The tobacco is mildly moist and needs no dry time. It burns cool, clean, and slightly slow. Leaves little dampness in the bowl and requires a couple more than average number of relights. Can be an all-day smoke, 4 stars. There's 2 reviews and both give it a 4-star. The next guy is Working Class Chap. The tin note is chocolate mousse. Oh well, not far off from tiramisu. Straight up smells like the dessert. The taste right away is the smell, a chocolate mousse. Okay. That's a very, very detailed description that both of them are giving. I don't know. It's not. It's not a typical American style aromatic, and that's a good thing. It feels. You don't get that artificial taste, and that's already a big plus. That's for me a big plus in its favor. Like I say, I'll need to smoke it in another pipe, and because I'm drinking coffee, maybe it's cancelling out the coffee flavor. I don't know. Oh, by the way, so that's why I made this drop, because I've been sharpening my chisels. I did have a strop lying around, but I couldn't find it, so I just made my own, and it seems to be doing the job well. I really like the retrohale. Not from the taste point of view, but from the burn. It's not too strong. You can really retrohale and enjoy it. You can enjoy that little bit of a burn. Exactly, Stabby. It's not a goopy aromatic at all. Smarty Bob, are you an aromatic smoker normally? I'm getting much more taste now. It's warming up. The flavor's got much more zing to it at the moment. Definitely warmed up as you get down the bowl. My problem is that all of my aromatic pipes have all been colored by vanilla flavors, like strong vanilla flavors. And then to try a new pipe means that I'm trying a new pipe. So I won't get the best flavors out of any tobacco with a brand new pipe. So the only other option is to smoke it in one of my Virginia or vapor pipes. I don't think this would ghost it after one smoke, to be honest. Maybe I'll have to do that. I don't really get coffee as much. I'm really not getting a huge amount of flavors that I can identify. There is flavor there, but I can't really identify it. There's definitely a sweetness there. There's a little bit of spice, especially on the retrohale. Maybe a meerschaum, yeah, that might be an idea, Bob. It reminds me a little bit of Boswell's No Bite Delight, but a lot better in terms of not being artificial. And I'm getting this great room note every so often. You know that you don't, when you're in the room yourself and smoking, you don't usually experience the room note, but every so often you'll get a little bit of a hint of it, and it really, it's as I said earlier on, it's triggering some memories. Very distinct, what I call the classic pipe tobacco aroma. And I'm pretty sure that the guy that I'm remembering smoked clan tobacco. There must be some coffee flavoring in on the in a tin note. That tin note is very distinctive coffee, but it's not in the flavor. No crimpy. Certainly I haven't heard of any new Garth Hogarth tobaccos. I'm actually quite surprised that they're releasing new tobaccos now. That's good. That's good for the hobby. The vanilla cocoa are the only topping. Oh yeah? But the coffee only comes from the toppings, plus the cigar leaf Cavendish interaction, making it a coffee type flavor. Okay. Hey, Imagine, how you doing? For me, like I said, the room note is really nice. The flavor I get is a little bit of a like a mild desserty kind of chocolatey flavor. A chocolatey, creamy kind of flavor, a little bit like tiramisu or a chocolate mousse or something like that. That's what I get. But there is a zinginess to it, which makes you feel like you're smoking a tobacco. I can't say that I'm tasting any particular tobacco, a base tobacco. I don't get cigar leaf or Kentucky or anything like that. To me, it's just a sweet tobacco with some bite to it, with some zing to it, with a little bit of spice to it. Not necessarily a tobacco-y flavor though, but it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that as criticism. I'm just describing what I'm getting. each time I relight it, I get something, a little something extra. Getting a bit of a savory note now coming through. But it's actually really quite full in the mouth in terms of fullness. Not strength, but fullness. The flavour fills your mouth. It really does. What that flavour is? Not sure. Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Virtual Pipe Club after it ran, so I saw a little bit about that. It's definitely warming up. I'm getting a little bit more vanilla. I'm just slowing down and sipping to see if that changes anything. More of that tiramisu flavour, which I wasn't really getting before. It was more in the aroma before, but now I'm actually getting the flavour. I think slowing down, sipping, is giving me more flavour at the moment. Yeah, definitely. What I like about this blend, it's obviously only my first bowl, but what I like about it is when I was sipping just now, just getting a better appreciation of the flavour, that tiramisu flavour, but then it's backed up by that zing, by that spiciness, richness, I wouldn't say a tartness, but a tanginess, which really finishes off the flavour profile well. Then you retrohale, and that kind of just adds a little bit more of that and finishes off that whole flavour profile and just makes it interesting. You smoked it, have you, Mud? So what I would say about this is that it's a mature dessert blend. It's definitely aromatic. See, it's a very rare thing in my experience, and I'm not saying that I've got a particularly wide experience with tobacco, but what I'm getting Good night, Jeremy. Okay, vanilla custard. I tried vanilla custard. It was too, to me, it was just too aromaticy. It was too much of an aromatic for me. Um, yeah. So as I say, I haven't got the widest experience of tobaccos. I've sampled a fair few, but I don't claim to have a particularly experienced palate. But what I do find is that when you try aromatics, 9 times out of 10, I'll regret it. Well, not regret it, but it's not something that I'll buy again. And I won't enjoy it. 9 times out of 10. Every so often, you find an aromatic which is really good. And the reason for it being good is the quality of the base tobaccos. A good example is the aromatic that I smoke the most of, which is vanilla roll cakes by McBaron. You could take out the vanilla flavoring and enjoy that blend, I'm pretty sure. And getting it right, getting the balance right with an aromatic so that you still experience quality tobaccos plus a high quality aromatic flavor, that's a really hard thing to do. So when you find one that you like, then for me anyway, I stick to it. So that's why I smoke so much of the vanilla roll cake. Orlik Golden Sliced is another good example, although I wouldn't classify that as a classic aromatic. But it is aromatic. It does have some flavoring in there. But obviously the base tobacco in that, the base blend, is great. It's a great Virginia blend, vapor if you like. I also put in that category Erinmore Flake. Some might call it a Lakeland. I don't know why they call it Lakeland. It certainly got a fruity flavor to it, but I don't. It's not Lakeland. It's nothing like Lakeland to my palate anyway. But Erinmore again, it's a fantastic blend of tobaccos topped off with a very nice aromatic flavor. Aromatics is something which you either like it or you don't. Every flavor. Some people like green apples, some people like red apples. It's a matter of personal taste. Erinmore happens to be a flavor that I like, the topping flavor. So I enjoy it a lot. It's a tobacco which I can reach for very easily when I'm in a quandary as to what to smoke. I just can't decide what to smoke. I'll either smoke some Erinmore or possibly some London Fog if I've got some to hand. So it's really hard to get a balance of having a good base blend, then topped off by an aromatic flavor. So when you do come across one, you kind of have to cherish it and treasure it. This one, it's definitely interesting. I mean, I obviously have to smoke more of it. It's an interesting flavor, and I don't think I've actually yet fully experienced this blend as it needs to be. I think with any blend, you have to really smoke it a few times, even if you do it in the same pipe, but certainly better to do it in a variety of pipes. But even if you did it in the same pipe, your palate and your brain, I find, I'm not talking for anybody else, I'm talking about myself, I find sometimes that your brain has to adjust to the flavors. And sometimes it takes time until you start to sense some of the flavors in a blend. And I've had that on more than one occasion. And I think this is one of those type of blends where there are some subtle nuances in there which are going to take some time to recognize. That's my take on this warped so far. Well, the weak typical Cavendish arrow flavour is depending on how much it's topped, you know. And the Cavendish is just used most of the time to carry flavour. It doesn't produce flavour, usually, as I understand it. James could well be there watching on the big screen. He doesn't always comment. Sometimes he's just watching. And very possibly Josh too. There you go. Josh informed me the other day that he's made me a pipe. I'm very excited. Looks like a cross between a bent billiard and a bent apple. This is a little bent apple I'm working on at the moment. I'm about to start the hand sanding stage. It's got a nice bulbous sort of base to it. So there we go. Thin at the base of the bowl makes this you make another one. Alright, I'll put plenty of honey in it. Peterson Phoenix. Cheers, Daddy. Thank you. Have a good one. Well, I'm going to carry on sanding this, guys. I tend to be doing shorter London callings these days. So I can leave it on if you want. But unless somebody wants to talk about a particular topic, I'm pretty much done. You guys got any questions you want to ask? Go ahead. Yeah, I find honey is the best way to make an pipe. That's just my personal experience. I've always done it, and it does the job for me. Alright guys, I'll say thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much Bob, Hot Rod Bob, Crimpy, Patrick, Stabby, Josh, Curmudgeon, Jeff, Chad, Smarty Bob, Jeremy Viz, probably gone by now, and everybody else, thanks very much for joining. Wish you all well, and I will catch you on the next one.